Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World. Usually, this time of year, I'm getting back from the NAMM Show in Anaheim, California. NAMM stands for National Association of Music Merchants, and one of the things they do is organize trade shows. And their big one is in January of every year, except this year. Yeah. I like going to the NAMM Show. It's a great way to start off my year. Getting to travel to a warmer place where you don't have to wear a heavy jacket or boots to go out in the wintertime is a great perk of a business trip. In many ways, it takes the edge off of the long, cold New England winters. I've been going to NAMM for Performer Magazine since 2015, and it's great seeing all the new gear and seeing how you think you could be used and sometimes how you think you could use it. Is kind of mind-blowing. I've made friends with a lot of people I've met at NAMM, and not going this year is really a bummer. I totally get it. In fact, one aspect of NAMM that you may not know about is Namthrax. Now, okay, Namthrax is not a real disease or virus. It's just a general term for when a NAMM attendee gets sick during or after NAMM. Okay, picture this. Over 100,000 people gathering from all over the world, meeting in one place for 4 days in the middle of cold and flu season. People that have been planning and want to really be part of this show and not wanting to miss out on it. And maybe they're a bit under the weather or just trying to push through a cold or a bug that they may be experiencing just so they can go to this. And they're traveling through airports, and they're traveling on a plane and attending a trade show, and they're shaking hands and trying out items and products that are handed by people that are all in the same boat that they've been stuck in. And you kind of get the idea. Someone's bound to get sick in one way or another, and it does happen. I've heard of people landing at the airport and getting wiped out from buying bad sushi at the airport and missing day one right off the bat. I myself have personally gotten sick right after the show a couple of times. And considering my NAMM experience starts by getting up at 3 a.m. to make a 6 a.m. flight on the Wednesday of the show, travel all day, check in a hotel, get your badges, try to get some rest, try to eat something relatively healthy, and get some sleep before the next 4 days of walking 10 plus miles a day, meeting with people from various companies from all over the world, and then coming home on the red eye on Sunday night and getting in 7 a.m. on Monday morning. It takes its toll on you. It can take time to recover. It's an intense week. It's exhausting for all involved. Immune systems get a bit weakened from all that. It's tiring and taxing on all fronts. If you ever see the movie Trading Spaces, just before the bell rings on the stock exchange, each morning at NAMM starts off like that every day. It's 8 hours of intense running around. It's fun intensity. I really like it. But I thank God it's only for 4 days. In fact, for a few years, I made sure to try to hit the gym and run at least 5 miles a day for a couple weeks before NAMM. And it made a difference in my overall endurance at the show, especially on my knees, my feet, and my back. My job at NAMM is to cover it for the magazine I work for, Performer Magazine. Simply put, I kind of need to be there and make some contacts with the manufacturers so we can get stuff to review and share that with you. Hopefully also start a good working relationship with these companies and meet with the companies we've worked with in the past and check out what they have in store for the coming year and see what we can do together. I know there's a little bit more of a nuanced description and explanation I could give, but it would probably bore even the biggest gearhead, so I'll just leave it at that for a very simplified reason why I go. Now, NAMM is almost like a Sweetwater catalog come to life. You do get to try stuff out, but it's tough because it's loud in there. It's really loud. so loud that NAMM has the sound police walking around with decibel meters, making sure that booths don't get too loud. After so many times of being told to keep it down, they just kick you out if you don't comply. And I've seen them do it. It is not pretty. A lot of companies have figured out how to deal with this. Headphone amps, soundproof booths, and they do help. But you don't expect the ability to really come up with a objective and definitive ruling on any particular device there because of the limited time, and the experience is very narrow in those situations. But that's okay for me. I'm usually just sampling stuff to see if these products are worth a deeper dive and if our readers would like to get to know about them some more. But one thing I do wish NAMM would cut back on is the civilian or the looky-loos that seem to get in. Now, these people have no practical reasons to be there. They're not performing. They don't have any business interests. They're just checking out gear or people watching. And if we eliminated those people from the show and brought it back to people that really need to be there, it'd be far less crowded overall, which is good. And considering it is a limited amount of time, it's 4 days, but it's a very intense period of time to meet with all the people you would like to meet with. And that time is valuable. It would keep the interactions down to the people that are there for actual work and business relating to the music instrument industry. And I've seen it happen. I went to a pedal company. I had an appointment with them. And when I arrived, there was a player there, I would call him that. He looked like he was from a music store. His badge said he was from a music store. And he was talking to the representative of the pedal company, and he was gushing about all the pedals they had and how he liked them and all the differences and how they were really great. And the pedal company guy was loving every minute of it. He's like, this is great, cool. And then he says, well, I'd love to do something with you. And the player basically said, well, how about you give me a free pedal? And the pedal guy kind of went, huh? What do you mean? He says, oh, I heard that you guys don't like shipping stuff back to the factory after the show. You just so it's cheaper for you to give it away than it is to pack it up and send it back. And I'll be very clear, that usually doesn't happen. A lot of the manufacturers, they bring demos and samples. They do have a limited amount of stuff they could give away for swag, and it's very limited. There's not a lot. They would have to know something about you as a player at some point to really kind of like wet your whistle on it. If you were a guy like Steve Vai and you said, hey, I heard about your pedal, they'll give you a pedal. If you're not Steve Vai, you ask for a free pedal, you're probably not going to get a free pedal. But the pedal guy was kind of like, well, we don't really do that. And, we can send your store some sample pedals and we can kind of work something out and talk about which ones you like. And then we can maybe take that off your order if you decide to go with us. And the player says, well, I don't work at a music store. And the pedal guy's like, well, your badge says you work at a music store. And he says, oh, yeah. He says, the music store gave me a pass because I bought a couple guitars from this year. So that's why I'm here. And the pedal guy just deflated. He was just completely wiped out by that statement. He realized he had been spending his time talking to somebody thinking he's going to make a new dealer to go with their company, and that would hopefully, be good business for them. And to find out the guy he was talking to just wanted a free pedal and really had no reason to be there, it kind of wiped him out. And he says, well, why don't you go back home and give your store my business card, maybe we'll work something out. And the player kind of just rolled with it. He went, oh, okay, and walked off to a couple more booths down the line. And I then talked to the guy I was supposed to talk to, and I said, yeah, that's kind of rough, huh? And he says, yeah, it happens a couple times a day. I get somebody that I think is going to be a good business opportunity, and it doesn't turn out that way. It turns out they're a friend of a friend that came along, and they just wanted to talk pedals. And he goes, I do get a lot of people asking for free stuff, and it's just a waste of time, and it kind of bums them out. And time is limited there. Even though it is 4 days at 8 hours a day, losing 10 to 15 minutes for something like that, it can really be a bummer, and it can be time that would have been better spent doing something else. Now, as I said, I will miss catching up with all the people I've met and all the friends I've made at all the NAMM shows, and a few companies that I've been working with. Well, their first NAMM show was my first NAMM show, and working with these companies over the years, seeing them grow, it's really great to see them do well and develop their business in a very tough field. And we've been there with them, working with them. It's kind of a great feeling. And yeah, it is also kind of fun to run into musicians that you admire and respect. I remember being next to Victor Wooten as the doors opened on day one, and there was a fan asking him for an autograph, and Victor's trying to get to his first appointment of the day. He's trying to run, and there's this fan that wants to talk to him about bass playing and all this stuff, and Victor was very kind, signed an autograph, and talked and walked while they went down the aisle. And he says, "I gotta go, and good to see you, nice to meet you," and took off. And he was heading the same direction as me, and I said, "Well, it's not going to get any easier today." And he says, "Yeah, that's about it." And he gave me a high five, and I wished him a good day. That's kind of a cool thing. One other thing that was very, very interesting, I was at the D'Addario booth one day, and I was scheduled for a meeting. And one of their artists, I won't say who, wanted to talk to the same person that I was talking to at this point, but they didn't pull like this rock star trip. They saw them, they didn't interrupt, they just waved and says, "Hi, I see you're busy with somebody, I'll catch up with you later." I was very pleasantly surprised to see somebody not pull a rock star trip and try to, say, "Oh, whoever this guy is, who cares about him? I got to talk to this guy." It was very cool to see people act like true professionals, not with big ego trips. It's a very cool thing to see, and is always refreshing. It's been kind of tough to check out all the new stuff for 2021 virtually. NAMM's Believe in Music platform, it makes sense. It was still a little tough to navigate. I did find YouTube and some press releases from brands I follow on social media did help a bit. It's still not quite the same. I don't doubt that I'll still have a ton of gear to check out for 2021, but the usual post-NAMM rush of gear might be a little more subdued than the past. A virtual NAMM I can deal with, knowing we'll be safer and healthier in any way. It's hard to think of the 2022 Winter NAMM show and having that in person at this point. But by that time, I really hope we will be back to normal, or whatever normal will be at that time. Now, some manufacturers, even before a virtual NAMM, would just announce new equipment when they wanted to. Sometimes they wanted people to be able to see something specific at the NAMM show, so they would announce it in sometimes November or December. Perfect example is Boss announced their Tone Bender pedal. It's a collaboration they're doing with the original makers of the Tone Bender Fuzz, and I'd love to check that out. I know it's going to be a limited pedal because of component availability, and the price might be a bit high, but depending upon the cost, I might be checking that out. I have been kind of interested in that type of fuzz pedal for a little while now, and that would be a really unique way to dip my toes into that pool. PRS Guitars has also expanded their line as always. They have a new studio model. Their SE model has also added a few things. Their parlor guitar, very cool, as well as another version of the custom available in the SE. Gibson and Fender have also expanded, like they always do. The Epiphone line has gone into some really great territory with some versions of some of their existing Gibson stuff being a lot more affordable, and sometimes making some tweaks that maybe traditional players wouldn't want to see, but somebody that would like to have maybe a 335, or I've seen their new Futura guitar, which is a very unique shape. It's kind of like a twisted Explorer, and they've actually added Fluence pickups by Fishman, kind of a neat touch. Fender has also expanded. They have a Squire line with a guitar that they designed with their master builder Ron Thorne. It is a single pickup configuration. It is kind of interesting. It reminds me a little bit of what Robbie Robertson's Strat kind of had, and I've seen some of the Thorne ones from the custom shop, and they're very unique. These are a little bit more streamlined. They're a little bit closer to a production Strat at that point, but very cool. And they have a very 80s thing going on as well, with a twin humbucking Strat with the 80s Fender knobs with the rubber insert and the little F on the top of the knob, and looks very cool. I remember seeing those kinds of instruments used in the early 90s, and they were fun to play when you could find one of them on the rack at the music store. And there's always tons of cool stuff to check out. I was kind of hoping to really connect with the guys at Coppertone. They have done some really great stuff. I got to try out their Triple Graph pedal, which is a collaboration with Third Man Records and Jack White. Another really cool thing. I got to check that pedal out, and it was really kind of interesting. I'd like to see what else they were developing. And, you know, it's just a fun time to see all these things that you don't expect to see. There's always a lot of announcements that would come through, and you would be right there seeing somebody unveil something new. So that's kind of a cool experience to go through. To always have your mind blown there is very difficult to do, but it does happen, and when it happens, it's really cool. Anyways, I'd love to hear if you guys have had any NAMM experiences of your own, and why were you there? How'd you get in? Did you really need to be there? No. But actually, if there's anything that you've heard for devices for 2021 that you're interested in, whether it's guitars or basses, recording, pro audio stuff, love to hear about it. And if you can, leave me a link of something that you've heard about is maybe worth checking out, and I'll reach out to those companies, and maybe we can get a review unit so you can hear what it sounds like and get some firsthand info on it. Anyways, if you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, you can hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to share it, there's a button for that as well. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care.